Welcome to day 3 of 100 days of automation. Today we are going to create a note-taking app using WhatsApp. Whenever we send our notes in WhatsApp, it will go to Make. Make will then call an API built in Craftar. This API takes the notes and extracts tags from it using OpenAI. Then this API stores those notes and those tags in Airtable. Let's see how this works. So first I'll go to Craftar website and I'll copy some text. Now in WhatsApp, I'll come and paste my text. So once I do this, this will run the automation and we'll receive a response. Your note has been saved. The keywords extracted were API, logic, secure, and scalable. Now we'll go to our Airtable and we can see that we got our notes in the notes column and we got our keywords in the keywords column. Let's build the automation from scratch. So first, I need to create a WhatsApp app. So I'll go to developers.facebook.com, Cloud API, get started. So the first thing you need to do is register as a meta developer and then enable two-factor authentication for your account. I won't cover these two steps, but I'll share this link in the comments and you can go through them. They're pretty self-explanatory. What we'll do is after those two steps are complete, we'll create a meta app. And we'll come to developers.facebook.com/apps. So this is where you can see all your apps and I'll click on create app. So I'll select an app type called business and click on next. Then I'll give it a name. So I'll call it Airtable Note Taker. And then I'll choose test business and click on create app and submit. Nice. So now our app is done. Now we need to add products to our app. So the product we want to add is WhatsApp. So we'll come to WhatsApp and click on setup. So once we set up, we are taken to the WhatsApp page. Here we'll select 2 as our phone number and then we'll do a quick test. So I'll click on send message. And once I do that, I can see that I'm getting a message from WhatsApp. So it means that our integration is working. Now the next step is to configure Make. In Make, we'll come and create a new scenario. So now we'll click on plus and we'll search for webhooks. Now webhook, we'll choose a custom webhook. So we'll click on add and then we'll name it as WhatsApp webhook. And we'll click on save. So it will generate a URL for us. We'll copy the address to clipboard and click OK. Next step is to run this once and then go back to our Facebook webhook callback URL and paste the webhook here. In the verify token, we'll just type hello and then click on verify and save. Now this will fail. So we'll go back to a make and now we can see that we got some data. So what WhatsApp requires you to configure a webhook is to send it back this hub.challenge value. So it can confirm that you are the sender. So what we'll do is we'll add another module. We'll go to webhooks and now we can see an action called webhook response. So we'll select that and in the body we'll select hub.challenge and press OK. So the reason we did it this way and created an error is so we can actually see some values here and then select them inside our body. So now we'll click on run once again and now we'll go back to our callback URL and click on verify and save. So now our callback is verified and now we can send messages from WhatsApp to Make. Awesome. In step 2, we need to create a Craftar API. So now we'll go to Craftar and we'll click on create a new API. We'll call this API WhatsApp webhook. So now we have our input block and our output block. So before we do anything with the inputs and outputs, let's just think through what we have to do. So whenever we send a message on WhatsApp, it goes to Make and then Make would call Craftar with that message. So our input would have to have a message string, which is what we'll get from WhatsApp. So this will be of type text and we can create a sample message. I'll just go to Craftar website and copy the message and paste it in the value. Okay, So now we have the message. What do we want to do next? So we need to extract the tags. So to extract the tags, we'll use OpenAI. So I'll right click, I'll go to integrations, and then I'll go to OpenAI. Now in OpenAI, we have this block, OpenAI create completion. So I'll create this block. Now this block takes in a model. So I can choose the best model in OpenAI is Text DaVinci 002. So I'll choose that model. I'll also need the API key. So I'll just copy paste my API key here. Next step is to give a prompt. So the way we think of prompt is how OpenAI will react to us. So since we need to extract keywords, so we are getting this message and we need to append something in front of it. So let's create something called as combined text. So this block takes in text 1, it takes in a text 2 and a separator. So we'll put our message in text 2, and in text 1 we'll write extract keywords from this text, right? So now once we play this, let's just play this. So we'll connect start to enter and play. And now if we play, we can read extract keywords from this text, and then we have the text. So now we are instructing the AI to do something, right? So we've created this prompt, and now we'll pass this prompt to our prompt value, and we'll connect exit to enter. Now we'll need a couple more things to configure. So let's say our max tokens is 60, number of completions would be 1, and temperature we can set to 0.5 or 0.3. So what does this mean? So max token means how many maximum tokens or characters do you want to generate in the output. Number of completions is like how many variations of it do you want. We just want 1. Temperature, the less the temperature closer to 0, it'll try to not take many risks and be less creative and more factual. But if it is closer to 1, it'll tend to be more creative. So that's pretty much all that we have to configure. And now we can click on play. So we combine our text to create a prompt, and then we run the OpenAI, and now you can see we got the keywords, right? And these are all the choices. Since we only asked for 1, we got 1 choice. So this is awesome. So we get a random choice variable here. So now we need to use this to send data to Airtable. So let's see how we do that. So we finished step 2 and step 3, at least the Craftar part. Now the next step we have to do in Craftar is add the nodes and the keywords to Airtable. So first let's create a new Airtable. In Airtable, we go to add a base. We'll name this base as note taker, and I'll change the color to this. We'll set our table name to notes, and then we'll change our first column to auto increment number. We'll call it ID, and then notes is good, so we'll keep it as long text. We'll remove the assignee column. We'll remove the status column. We'll create a new column. We'll call it keywords. We'll just keep it as long text for now. We'll copy our Airtable URL, and then we'll go back to Craftar. So in Craftar, we'll right click, go to databases, click on Airtable, and click on add single record to Airtable. So if we look at this block, it takes in an API key, a base ID and a table ID, and some records that we want to add to it. So to do this, we'll also have a separate block called get Airtable config from URL. So this block takes in a URL which we just copied. I'll paste it here, and it extracts the base ID and table IDs. So this is what we need. So I'll collect this base ID to base and table ID to table, and then I'll connect exit to enter. And now we don't have records to ID, so that is what we need to create, and we'll just set these two aside. So we need to think about how do we create those records. So the way Airtable API takes data, it takes in the key name as the column name and the value of it as value, and the key name keywords will be the second key in the dictionary, and the value would be the value of the keywords. So we both already have the message here, which is our notes, and the random choice is our keywords. So first we need to create a dictionary. So we'll come here and break these connections. So there's a block called create dictionary. So this block will connect from start to enter. The message would go into value, and the key would be our column name. which is in this case notes. So I'll set my key to notes, and now I can just play to test. So if I look at the output of my dictionary, you can see I have notes in my key and this is my value. So this is great, this is what I want. Now I'll connect this back again and I'll connect my message to text too. So this is good. So we have one dictionary here. The other dictionary we'll have to create with the keywords. So we'll repeat the process. I'll create dictionary and I'll connect the exit of this to enter. I'll set the random choice to my value and the key would be keywords, which is the column name in Airtable. Now I have both these dictionaries, I need to combine them. So for that, again, there's another block. It's called combine dictionaries. Combine JSON data. So now this takes in two, it can take many items, we just have two. So this dictionary goes to item 1 and this dictionary goes to item 0. Okay, and now the exit of this will go to combined JSON data. So till this point, we create a dictionary from our input message. We combine the text with the extract keywords from text to generate the prompt for OpenAI. We call OpenAI and generate the keywords. Then with the keyword, we create another dictionary and then we combine those two dictionaries. So let's just see what data we get. You can see it playing. We'll create our dictionary. So you can see keywords. And then finally we combine the JSON data and we get the data we need for Airtable. So nodes, value, keywords and value. Awesome. So this JSON output would now go to records to add. So I'll connect this to records to add. And from here, I'll just call the get Airtable config from URL. So after this block, we run this, extract the base ID table ID, then go to add single record to Airtable and then connect this to output. I added my API key to add single record to Airtable. And now we need to send a response message back as the output of our API. So I'll create an API output. I'll call it response. Data type would be text. And what our response should be is we can say your node has been created and the keywords generated were, and then we add those keywords. So I'll remove this connection. I'll again create our combined text block. So here in text 1, we'll just hardcode your node has been saved and your keywords were. Separator we can just keep as space. And in the keywords, we'll just pass the random choice we got here. So I'll connect this random choice to our text too. Awesome. And now I'll connect this to end and this text would go to response. So if I play this now, what would happen is we would see a record being created in Airtable and we'd also get a response. So let's just do that. So we generate the OpenAPI response. We create the data we want to send to Airtable. Then we actually add the records to Airtable. We combine our final text. So you can see this is our final text. And now if I go to Airtable, we'll see our record has been created. Awesome. We'll create these 3 by default empty records and our API is done. So I'll just click on save and then I'll click on publish now. Great. So now that our API is done, we've completed 3 steps. Step 3, which generates keywords using OpenAI. Step 4, which adds notes and tags to Airtable. And step 5, which generates a bot response and sends it back to whoever calls the API. And in our case, it's make. So now let's go to make and actually call our API. We will delete the webhook response module and we'll create a new module, HTTP, and we'll make a request. So we need a URL. So if we go back to Craftar, click on publish, we can copy the URL by going to run API in browser. So in browser, I can just copy this URL, go back to make, and I'll just paste my URL here. So we can see there's a token. So I'll just remove the token from here. And our method is get. And then in a query string parameter, we'll create value name as token. And if you go back to Craftar, we'll copy our API key, come back to make and set our value as our token. The next thing we need to add is message. That's the input we want. But there's nothing to add here because we haven't actually sent a test message. So let's do that first. So I'll close this, I'll unlink this, I'll run this once, and now I'll send a message on our WhatsApp. So I'll say hi. In make, we can see that it became 1. So if I click on this, I can open my bundle. You can go keep opening. Inside messages 1, text, we can see hi. So we've received the message. Now we can pass this message to Craftar. I'll open HTTP, and inside my message and value, I'll select the actual message which we received. Okay. Next step is to add another HTTP block. This block is to send back message to WhatsApp. So we receive a response from Craftar and we'll send it to WhatsApp. So to do this, we'll need to go to this link. I'll share it in the comments. So in this link, we have this post call that we have to do to WhatsApp. So I'll come here, I'll go to HTTP, I'll select my method post, and then here I have the URL. So I'll copy this URL and I'll paste it in my URL. Next thing I need is my header. So the header is authorization. I'll click on add a header, name is authorization, value is bearer, and we need the access token. So to get the access token, we'll go back to our app in Facebook. I'll copy my temporary access token and then I'll paste it after bearer. So now that we have that set up, we need the body. So if we look at the body message here, it's a JSON. So what we'll do in make is we'll create a JSON block and we'll click on create JSON. So now we'll put this JSON block in the middle. So to create a JSON, you have to first add a data structure. So we'll call it WhatsApp message, and then you can click on generate. So when I click on generate, I can pass it a sample data and it will try to figure out the data structure. So I can remove this comment and now I can click on generate. So now we can see like our data structure is similar. So at the top level we have messaging, and here we have messaging product and so on. So for all of this we need a default value. So we'll just set that up. So for messaging product we just need WhatsApp and it's required. For a recipient we need individual as default, and it is also required, and we can close these. For phone number we need to copy our phone number. So I'll just type mine. Required, yes. Next we have to figure out type. So the type is text. We want to send back a text message. And then we have the body, the actual content that you want to send. So we don't actually have, because we haven't called Craftar API from within make. So what we'll do, we'll also have to set the preview URL to false. So yeah, so now the next step is to set the actual body. So we'll just save this first. Okay, so you can see it populated all of the data that we needed. So now we need to fill this body, but we don't actually have the data here. To generate the data, first we'll unlink this so that our flow only runs till Craftar API. We'll click on run once, and now we can go back to Craftar. We'll copy the text and then we'll go to WhatsApp and we'll press enter. So if we go back to make, we receive our message, and now we do the API call to Craftar and we can see that we got our data. Right, your note has been saved, the keyword extracted were API logic and scalable. Okay, so now I can connect this, and if I open my JSON, in my body I can choose data. Right, okay, so now a JSON got created, and next step is to fill the body with the JSON. So I'll select raw, my content type would be application/JSON, and the request content would be JSON string. Before we go ahead and play, we need to fix this. So right now it says from phone number ID. So we need to replace this. So I'll go back to my app, and you can see in this sample response we have this ID. So I'll copy this, go back to make and paste it here. So now we have the right URL, our headers are correct and our body is good. So we can press OK, and now I can click on run once, And now if I go to WhatsApp, I'll copy this and paste it again. So we pasted it, we can see it flowing, and then we got our HTTP request, it's 200. And if I go to WhatsApp, I get my response. So you can see we got the whole JSON. We don't really want that, we just want this text. Now we'll go back to make, and inside make, we'll in our Craftar API call, we need to set the past response to yes. And now we need to unlink this, and we'll run this again. So I'll click on run once, and I'll copy this and send the message. So if I come to Craftar now it has actually extracted the response. So if I connect this again and click on JSON, so here I should be able to select response. So first we'll remove data, and now we'll select response. So now it has actually selected the data.response. I can click on OK, and here we actually send it the JSON string. So I click on save and OK. So now I'll run it once again, and we'll come and paste this data once more, press enter, and this time hopefully everything will work well. Yes, so we got our note has been saved. So now if we go to Airtable, we'll have a lot of records because we did it multiple times. So let's see what's happening there. So we got these many records, and our API is working. So let's just delete all of this and we'll do a fresh test. Our whole automation is working now, and we'll go to our steps. So we set up we created a WhatsApp app and configured webhook in make. Then we send messages on WhatsApp, and make passes those messages to Craftar. Then Craftar generates the tags using OpenAI, and then Craftar adds notes and tags to Airtable. After that, Craftar sends the bot response, which we parse and then create a JSON in make, and then make calls the WhatsApp API to send the message back. So this is the whole automation. Let's finally see and make it work with a different text. So I'll come in and copy some text here. In make, I'll click on run once and listen for new, and then I'll go to WhatsApp and paste my text. So we say your note has been saved, the keywords extracted, secure, scalable, API, and minutes. So now we'll go to Airtable and we see our record. Thank you so much for watching. Today was a complex automation, but we made it happen. And if you stuck around till now, I really appreciate that. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 4.